That's what you told the kids.
2023.
Yeah.
I'll let you hand this down to Heather. Okay. Are we ready, Barbara?
Yeah,
You
we're
okay?
ready. We're ready.
Okay. I'd like to open the meeting of January 12th, 2023 of the Victor Valley Union High School District Board meeting. And at this time, I'll take roll. Kent is here, Barbara's here, Penny, Jose, and Rosie. We're all here. No one is absent. Do we have any community comments before closed session?
Closed session.
Okay.
Oh, okay. One comment.
All right, this is an opportunity for the community to address the board on any closed session item. Please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and turning it in to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak prior to closed session. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes if substantial numbers of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. If the topic would be more suitably addressed at a later time, the president may indicate the time and place when it should be presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims for slander. Public charges or allegations may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in the democratic process, Anita.
Good afternoon, esteemed board members, Superintendent Coles, Dr. Yee, Ms. Milton, students, educators, and community. My name is Anita Tucker, retired teacher, retired BITSA and induction support provider, and Victor Valley Teachers Association President Emeritus. I'm speaking today on item 10.1, the Certificated Personnel Report, specifically item 9A, extra hours for teacher support liaisons, which will be effective from January 13th to June 1st, 2023. I urge the board to vote in favor of this. Before I start, I want to say that I do appreciate you, Dr. Yee, for paying for a record number of our teachers to attend the Good Teaching Conference. You always work very well to support our teachers, and that means a lot. I know that you always have the heart of a teacher. Last year, at every board meeting, I spoke to the board during my VVTA president comments on the need to adequately staff our schools and for the district to be ready on day one for the students. This did not happen. We had excessive student overages leading to crowding in classrooms and an unprecedented number of teachers working an extra period on their prep. I also spoke to you on the need to support our new teachers and how they need mentors and support from day one. For the past several years, I've worked with our district collaboratively to try and get a support system for our new teachers who are not yet eligible for induction. These teachers, many of them hired as a STIP or a PIP, need support before the school year starts and at those very crucial beginning days of the school year. This did not happen. The first day of school was August 8th, 2022. We are just now hiring support for our teachers that won't start until January 13th, 2023. 6 months into the school year. Could you imagine a teacher not providing support to a struggling student until 6 months into the school year? It would be reprehensible. Yet this is what we do to our teachers. Why? This year, our district has an obscenely large ending fund balance, roughly about $72 million, maybe I'm wrong on that. Couldn't we use some of that money to provide help and support for our teachers so that our students will ultimately benefit? Consider hiring a couple of TOSA positions to provide new teacher support and to ensure that our beginning teachers' needs are taken care of. From the moment they're hired, it's time that our district starts to nurture and mentor teachers to hire and retain the best for our students. Next month, the board will receive a list of teachers that the administration recommends to be non-reelected. Before approving the release of our beginning teachers, I urge you, our board, to question the reasons why and remember that the district did not provide the support to help them during the times they needed it most, at the beginning of the school year and at the arduous period from October to December, when teachers, their heart and soul is just sucked out. At a time when we hired a record number of teachers and certificated staff, the district failed. It failed in its duty to mentor, advise, and support them. While the district did not ensure timely support for our newest and most vulnerable teachers when they needed it, I'm sure they will be on time with the March 15th notifications to release them. I hope that you will support our newest teachers in the same manner that you support our students. Thank you very much for your time and consideration of my request.
Do we have induction coaches?
I'm not sure.
Do you know, Anita, do we have induction? Or Ramoni?
We hired them on time because it's required for them.
So we do have induction coaches now?
But they only work with teachers that are eligible for induction. Many of whom we hired are not eligible for their support.
Because they're not eligible because they're already their credential is cleared?
No, their credential is, they're like a PIP or a STIP, kind of like an emergency credential.
And so they're not working with an induction coach? So they are the ones most in need, not having had,
Exactly,
they've had the least experience.
exactly.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion in a second to enter closed session.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Rosie.
Second.
I think they tied
I think
for.
Jose beat me,
Okay.
he's faster.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no dissensions, we'll adjourn now to closed session.
Heather, 3 cents?
p.m. We'll begin by administering the oath of office to Wendy Contreras.
Windy. She's from Silverado.
Hey, no, before that, she's my student. She was one of mine. You want me to come up? Oh,
So moved.
I'm looking right here where you said, so. Okay, we'll return to regular session, and I don't see an action here. Do you? Okay, so I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Jose moved, Rosie seconded. All in favor of returning to open session?
Aye.
Okay. Aye.
So as you know, this is the start of the second semester, and so we have the opportunity to have our second student board rep, and so welcome. So I'm going to swear you in. Ready? Raise your right hand. Okay, repeat after me. I, Wendy Contreras, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
So Wendy, we'll help you out because there's some things that we have our students vote on, but when it comes to student discipline, you wouldn't vote on that, nor would you vote on personnel. So if you accidentally vote, we'll let you know, or when we need you to vote, we'll let you know. And just let us know. So we'll call the meeting to order at 5:54. Let me turn my page. We have no members absent. Everyone's present: Kent, Barbara, Penny, Jose, and Rosie. At this time, I'd like to do a pledge of allegiance. And I see a young man in the audience. And I'm wondering if any of those young men who's sitting right, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one back, would you be willing to lead us in the pledge? All you have to say is ready, begin. Can you do that for us? So if we could all rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Young man, what is your name? Thank you very much. Do you say the pledge in your classroom? Oh, you did a great job. Thank you. At this time, we'll look at approving of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Jose moved, Rosie second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I see no opposition. Item 4, recognition. I'll hand that over to.
So I'd like to introduce our Student Services Director, Mike Williford, who will do the honors of honoring a great program that was started many years ago and has paid dividends. And so for all of those who were involved in that, the previous superintendent and the board at that time, for the family engagement liaisons, we recently were awarded the Golden Bell, in recognition for the outstanding work that they do within the community. And so today, it's just such an honor to be able to take a small piece of what we got to celebrate at the California School Boards Association and bring it right back here at home and recognize them here at a board meeting. So, Mr. Williford.
Thank you, Mr. Coles. Good evening, Board President, Board, Executive Cabinet. Tonight we are recognizing our Family Engagement Program. The program was created roughly about 8 years ago by then the Board of Trustees, and they did a great job by hiring 7 liaisons for our school sites. The team has undertaken many engagement and outreach actions over the past several years. Some of these actions have been from Coffee with a Principal to our computer giveaway program to feeding at-risk and needy families in the wintertime or during spring break. This program is chosen by the state to participate in the Community Engagement Initiative. We believe the team's efforts are worthy of statewide recognition, and they received that by receiving the Golden Bell Award this past November. So I would like to bring up our fellows to come on up and receive an award. Mr. Coles, if you could please come up and help with this, please. And then when you guys call your name, please come up, and then we'll get a big picture at the end, but please feel free to shake hands with our board. Are you guys ready? All right. Yep, one bag, and then I'll hand this, and you can hand this to them. Okay. Our first individual is from Lakeview, Donovan Botello. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Our next individual is Miss Jessica Barentos. Please come on down.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Congratulations. Good job.
From Sims, Christiana Pitts.
Congratulations, Susie.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
Stay right there. Don't move.
That's not for you.
Formerly of Adelanto High School, Madi Mercado, please.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Formerly from the district office, Miss Latanya Myers.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
From Victor Valley High School, Veronica Geronio.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your efforts. Thank you.
From Silverado High School, Nancy Martinez.
Congratulations. How are you? You're good?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And from Hook Junior High, Miss Anna Perella Hernandez, please.
Thank you so much for your work.
Congratulations, sweetie.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And they were number 28 when they gave them the golden bell, by the way. They still have it.
Each of them are presented with little golden bells.
Yes, yeah.
We might need to do rows here. We can have on the taller person go back. Oh. And if everybody can actually just take a couple of steps back.
I was up there, Hillary. Hold that up there.
Got it.
He's got that, so.
Number one. Number one.
Okay. Okay, good. I can see everyone. All right. Give me a nice smile. Say cheese. Cheese. Okay, anybody else real quick?
That goes.
That's better than the gavel pen.
All right.
They get our attention.
Pretty big.
Rotary gun.
Yeah, Hilly on the peg.
All right. The California School Board Association honors different programs or efforts that school districts are providing, and our district was honored with our family liaisons because they've done such a good job and worked so hard. So thank you. You not only help all of our students, but help the whole district. Thank you so much. 5.2 is a resolution for Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and Mr. Coles, would you speak on this?
5.1, 5.1.
5.1 first, it's the
Oh, I apologize.
school board.
I apologize.
No worries. So what I thought we'd do is, there's 3 resolutions tonight. So the first one being 5.1, which is honoring our school board. January's been deemed to be the school board, recognition month. And what I thought we'd do, instead of putting them on our consent items, is to just talk about them, on the public, so they don't get lost for the importance of the resolution that you pass as a board. So as each of you are aware, you're citizens that serve the students that represent, the community. Collectively, you face complex and demanding challenges. This month, January, is designated as School Board Recognition Month to honor you. Each of you go above and beyond for students and staff that you are entrusted to serve. And you truly are extraordinary people who voluntarily tackle an enormous job and do so in a manner that illustrates what it means to be an incredible advocate for students. So today we honor you for your dedication, your work ethic, and your unwavering commitment to improving student achievement. So often you get to put the light on everybody else, but for just one moment today, we'd like to put the spotlight on you and honor you for what you do. Going to school board meetings is just a fraction of what you do. And that cannot go unrecognized by so many. And it's such an honor to work with you and your commitment to students and the staff that you're entrusted to serve. So, Ms. Edmondson, if you would take action to approve your own resolution, I know how awkward that is, but it really would mean a lot to us as the staff and the students to be able to recognize the work that you do as a school board, because it's an enormous job to do.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carl.
And we have a small gift for you, and I know that there's also a public comment out there, and if it's okay with you, the public comment can come now if that's okay. It's appropriate at this time.
Ms. Kunkel?
Good evening, Cabinet, board members, and public viewing audience. In full disclosure, I need to let you know that Dr. McNally from Sims organized the 8 of us, which is sometimes like herding cats, for this effort. And so in full disclosure, she's at a conference tonight, so I am simply the designated messenger. As you may know, and as Mr. Coles just indicated, January of each year serves as School Board Recognition Month across the country. On behalf of all 8 site principals of the Victor Valley Union High School District, we would like to express our sincere appreciation for our 5 esteemed board members with whom we have the opportunity to work. It is apparent, not just at each and every board meeting, but on a daily basis, that our 5 individuals have a commitment to serve our community, but most importantly, the students who attend all of our schools. For this and much more, we would like to formally thank and appreciate you this evening at the board meeting. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present a certificate and a gift card to each of you. Your dedication and commitment to the school district is evident through your hard work and strong advocacy for student success. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
And also, you had a little dinner in closed session, so we'd like to also offer you some crumbles cookies. Yes, for dessert when you get home, so I'm going to pass this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Valerie. Happy New Year.
Oh, okay. Picture for the resolution.
Oh,
There you go.
yes, we can.
Wow.
Cool, there we go. Penny? Wow, that's like really cool.
Pass this down. Can you pass this down, Mark?
Yes. Wow.
Crosby?
One for you.
I know he doesn't eat sweets, but. Oh, yeah.
Cookies, huh?
Oh,
Food?
thank you.
Just come in front of us, that's all right.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Feel free to stand
Feel
right
free
there.
to
You're
just
free.
stand right there.
We're all the same height, that's the hard part.
I'm gonna hold this. It's our recognition. And. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, I know. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. God. You go way back if it's Mickey Mouse. Is it candy? We can eat right now.
Okay. Now, Mr. Coles, I would like you to present the resolution for Dr. Martin Luther King
Yeah, so
Jr. Day.
Dr. Martin Luther King Day is coming up on the 16th of January, and it honors the life of a fighter and a racial justice and equity advocate. It celebrates this equality in a society that he dreamed to be colorblind. He stood up to make a difference for every race. His words spoke for every nationality to feel no segregation. Dr. King served as a model and an inspiration for us all. He created a vision for us. However, it is the actions from that vision that we are entrusted to act upon that we should forever be grateful. His words inspired us. Our actions have to carry that legacy forward. So today, we honor Dr. King through this district's resolution for the recognition that he put in the hearts of this entire country and plays out in the schools. And so Monday is a day off, but Monday is also a day of reflection for his life and for his dedication. And so it'd be an honor if you would make a motion and pass that resolution for his vision and the hard work that we continue to fight.
I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay.
Well, it's really great that we do that because actually I was born in Montgomery, Alabama, and my grandmother and all of her people were the ones marching across that Selma Bridge in order to help what we do today. And Rosa Parks lived 2 doors down from my grandmother. And my grandmother used to take me in a stroller down to Rosa Parks' house because they were friends, you know, on that same street on King Hill. So it really means a great deal to me because of the people and the people that lost their lives. People don't talk about that, but 2 of my family members lost their lives behind them.
Thank you for sharing that. Mr. Coles, would you please address item 5.3 resolution?
So, as you know, we talked about earlier today, is that the commitment to our students is unwavering. And it really starts from the time that we get them in 7th grade. And so what's in front of you today is a commitment to memorialize the work that's been happening to open a 3rd middle school. A middle school that would lower our class sizes, lower our schools, the impact that it is at Lakeview and at Hook. But it would also really commit the exploration, the continued exploration, and the steps needed as we continue to progress down this road. Keeping you informed is one thing, but taking an action that says, you know, we're committed to continue the exploration of this, you know, it's another. So there's little doubt that the commitment of the 1,000+ employees ensuring improved student achievement will be second to none. And as a district, some of our students, they face many challenges that impact school. Just under 90% of our students fall under the federal poverty line. And the average reading level of an incoming student who will attend Hook or Lakeview, it ranges between 3.4 and the 4th grade level. Additionally, Hook has now exceeded over 1,000 students, and Lakeview is quickly approaching. So despite these many challenges, our district has addressed some of those challenges by adding intervention classes, mental health support, family engagement liaison, some smaller class sizes, and many, many other supports. But we also know that there is no destination to the work that we do in the advancement of student achievement. So today, we're bringing forward a resolution formalizing our commitment for the continued exploration to opening a new middle school, starting on the very first day of the 23-24 school year. This is an extraordinary timeline, extraordinary quick timeline to make this happen. And many people on the extended cabinet, which make up the district's directors, have been hard at work to make this timeline become a reality, and we should be extremely thankful. Can I get our extended cabinet just to stand up so we can recognize you? I'm willing to take any questions and comments that you may have about this commitment that really just solidifies the importance of our exploration, on behalf of our incoming 7th grade students, that would open up a middle school with a focus on literacy. And I look forward to the work that we would do with the VVTA and with CSEA to improve the working conditions that really would then start to begin to make a difference in the classroom for our students with a real focus on literacy. We can't do anything about the student reading levels where they're at. All we can do is react to where they're at, to get them caught back up so that they can live and they can carry out their purpose by the time they walk across that stage about 6 years later. So any questions or comments that you may have as a board?
I think it's great.
We're excited about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
that's
smaller class sizes.
particularly that. But opening up a new school, allowing smaller schools, which will give us more individualized attention for the students, and then reducing class sizes at the, I mean, that's win-win for all the way around for everybody. So I'm
But
excited.
reducing class sizes at all 3 of our middle schools.
That's the plan.
Not
I mean,
just
it all has to be
you.
negotiated, but, it's just really
Little
a
by
collective
little.
effort that I think it's a win-win, the working
Oh, yeah.
conditions for what teachers have really been advocating for, and a commitment, with a fiscal commitment that says, you know what, if we're gonna do something, let's do it where it's not a Band-Aid. Let's do something that we know what matters, smaller class sizes, targeted interventions, smaller schools. And I think it would really begin to kind of turn the corner a little bit on some of these things that we talk through. If we know the issues out there, we can't stay in an arena of problem admiration. We have to leave problem admiration and get into solutions. None of us can guarantee an outcome. I wish I could, but I can guarantee what would happen if we continue to do the same things over and over.
Well, that's, if we knew that, we have all these feeder schools, it's not just one school.
That's correct.
So I think in putting all the kids into one smaller environment so that they understand and adjust a little bit better, it would help in helping them with reading and the other things they need.
And the other thing is you guys drive through the neighborhoods, as I'm starting to learn the neighborhoods, there's a lot of buildings still happening, there's a lot of new growth. And
Yes.
Victor L is, we've done the research, there's no doubt that there are more students coming to us next year, which will only continue to add to the overcrowding. And, we kind of heard it today about the need to,
Be prepared.
be prepared, but not only to be prepared, but to do something about the staffing ratios where we're not having to impact extra preps,
Yeah.
where we're not having to just scramble at the end, get the recruiting done early. We know what we're going to need to do, and working collaboratively with our associations to get this done. So when we come on the very first day of school, we're much more prepared than we ever have been.
Most of the property that you see empty is now being bought up, or has been bought up by most of the builders. So most of those places that you see that are empty today probably won't be empty in a couple of years, because they're building houses everywhere. BIA informed me that they're building in all those places.
All right.
More
Can
students.
I entertain a motion? in a second?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Rosie moves, Jose second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we have a presentation. Mr. Gillespie, you're going to present about Options for Youth, the semi-annual update.
Well, good evening, Superintendent, board members, Executive Cabinet. Thank you for allowing me to come and present. I'd like to take the opportunity congratulate Mr. Williford and the Family Engagement Liaisons for the work that they do. I know they have an impact in our school with the food pantry. We've worked with them on that, and just thank you for all the work that you do. It is important to the community. We can go to the next slide. So looking at our missions and values, our schools create an educational choice for all students. Our staff connects with students to empower and inspire them to achieve their goals and make their dreams a reality. Our core values are compassion, integrity, mutual respect, mutual trust, and resilience. Next slide. So the programs we're offered, just to explain a little bit about our program. I know we have some board members that are new, and So we are predominantly an independent study program. We have in-person instruction. Our students come typically 2 days a week for their independent study appointments for an hour. We also have a virtual platform, which kind of came out of the pandemic, but we've continued. Most of our students are in person, though. We also have small group instruction classes, SGI courses. Our class sizes are somewhere between 12 and 20 students in most of our classes, so we try and keep them below 20. They're subject specific. Think of a normal class schedule, and then each site has different schedules based on spacing and staffing. Next slide. Demographics. So it shows how we compared last year, and this is our own internal data. When we pulled this data in December, the state data hadn't been released yet. So we are seeing an increase in students. We have about an 8% increase over the previous year, but we're almost in every subgroup. We're seeing an increase in the number of students that we have, specifically with our SPED students or students with disability. I think it ran about 12% last year. Every year, we're seeing about a 2% increase, which I think is about what you guys see in the district as well. So, next slide. Groups and activities. This is something we're really excited about. Last year when I presented, we only had, I think it was just one sports season, maybe it was basketball and volleyball was the only thing we were able to offer at the end of the year. We did add an esports program, kind of out of necessity, but that's continued. But now we're back to our full sports schedule with flag football, which just ended. Soccer is starting right now, so we're just, as soon as the weather permits us to practice, we're going to be doing that. We have softball, girls volleyball, boys basketball. We have our ASB. They do a lot of community service and outreach projects, so we're really proud of the work that they do. Gardening group, that's something that we have at, I think, 3 of our locations. And we have the Tree Plenish project, which we did last year, which was started as a college project from a group of students and has actually grown nationwide, where the premise is that you look at how much paper usage you have and you try and offset that with getting trees into the community. Last year, I think it was about 240 trees that we got. We're aiming for 200 is what we need to replace our paper usage. So it's a project that's happening again this year and we're really excited about. We resumed our experiential learning trips, some that we have coming up soon. We have Washington, D.C. that's coming up in March. At the same time, we have a junior high trip to Las Vegas for a crime scene investigation, and then a community service trip to New Orleans that we'll be doing with our students. And then we have multiple local field trips. I know we're going to the Lion King here soon. We're getting ready to have a career fair at the fairgrounds. I think March 7th is the date that we're looking at. I haven't had a chance to talk to you, Dr. Yee, but maybe you guys could participate as well. So we're looking at hopefully having about 300 students come out to that. And we have other trips that are planned. Next slide. Community partnerships. We're partnering with Victorville Rotary, which I'm a proud member of, and the Victorville Kiwanis Club to provide scholarships and community service opportunities to students that we serve. We were part of the Victorville Holiday Parade. Continue a partnership with Victorville Transit Authority to provide free public transportation for all of our students, and that's a partnership that we're really proud of. And again, this year, we partner with Desert Mountain SELPA, Sunland Ford, and Art Junkies to support their toy drive, help them provide toys for over 500 families in need. We had about 10 staff, 10 students go out, and we wrapped all the presents for the SELPA event. It was about a 14-hour day with us being out there, but we're really proud of the work that we did there. Next slide. This is something I'm extremely proud of. An area of focus when we talked last year at this time was to increase our A through G. And it was an area of need because we needed to increase our college and career readiness indicator, which I know with the dashboard, it's, we're not getting colors this year, but if you look at the numbers from where we're at this time last year and where we're at now with the number of kids that are on A through G, and I would really like to just, my counseling team did a tremendous amount of work with our staff to bring these numbers up, and we're confident that as we move forward, this will mean more of our students are graduating A through G ready, which is something that we're really focusing on. Next slide. The alternative metrics, which Dr. Yee and I have been working on, and I know we meet on the 17th to kind of solidify all of those. So core course completion, student progression, our Renaissance Star. Right now, we're just starting our second window, so we don't have the data on that, but we will soon. English learner reclassification rate. We're proud that, again, up this year, it's up at 77.78%, up from 68.75 last year. Our climate survey, we do every 2 years. We just opened the window this week for that climate survey, so we'll be getting information on that. And then the one-year grad cohort. Next slide. Core course completion. And I like to explain what this is because it's a little bit misleading. This is an average of the core courses that all of our students are completing for the entire year. And so what we see right now in school year 2022-2023 is where we're at comparatively to the number of 21-22, which was the end of the year. One thing that we've requested when we look at data is we're starting to look at length of time that students have been with us, because this data is skewed. You know, if someone enrolls at the end of the year, they're still part of the data, and it skews those numbers. So we're going to start looking at students who have been with us for 9 to 12 months for the year, 6 to 9, and then we can really kind of make sure that the students are completing the courses that they should be. This is a metric that's really important to me because I want to make sure our students are completing core work to a high level. I think that'll have the biggest impact on our state testing numbers. Next.
Brian,
Yeah.
those numbers, if we could go back one slide, I'm not sure how to interpret those numbers. For example, English, 3.296 for the school year.
Yeah,
That means
that's
the
so far.
percentage of completion, or
It's an average number of units that's completed by all students.
Units,
So yeah,
okay.
and so it's a complicated number, but I think if we have the number based on kids that have been enrolled with us for the whole year, it becomes a little bit more clear. Because when I look at English and it says 5.2, like, why aren't our kids completing 10 units of English? But we have students that enroll throughout the year, so it's including all of those students. So we've asked to change the metric a bit so that people can have a better understanding of what it is. So
thank you.
yeah. Student progression is basically a measure of the amount of work paired with attendance, and that's how we earn ADA. So this is the percentage of students getting the work in and the attendance. And so we had a comparison between 21-22, really kind of coming out of the pandemic, and then 22-23, and you can see we're making great gains. On average, before the pandemic, we would usually average somewhere between 87 and 92%, and we're really trending positively in that direction, getting back to quote unquote the new normal, I guess, that we're working on. Next slide. The climate survey, like I said, it's conducted every 2 years. We're just getting ready to start that. It identifies what a positive rating is. And, one of the things we've been focusing on is areas of growth, social media, which did improve during the pandemic. That was one thing that we did improve. But social and civic learning, we're really excited about the fact that we had students for the first time work at the polls this year. And we had a big push for civic learning, and then school connectedness, and just making sure. And that's one thing that we're seeing with sports and field trips and all the activities coming back, the kids are more connected to our program. Next. 1-year graduation rate, and this is the first year that the federal government has determined that we're going to be rated on a 4 to 5 year rate. The state still recognizes the 1-year rate. In 2020-21, all students was at 71.7%. Last year we ended up at 83.94. And then we have the socioeconomically disadvantaged at 71.5, and then this last year was 84.18%. So we're proud to see that those numbers are going up, and we're still going to be tracking the 1-year rate in addition to the 4 and 5 year rate. Next slide. I think that's all I have. The one thing I would like to say is we do have our graduation ceremony tomorrow, which we're really excited about. I'd like to thank Dr. Yee, Mr. Hnos for RSVPing. If anyone else still would like to come, it's going to be at the High Desert Church. We're asking, special guests to arrive at 5:30. The ceremony's at 6, but we're really excited about that. So just want to make sure to extend the invitation. And then if you guys have any questions about anything.
Any questions? Very thorough report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to report.
Thank you.
Good to see that our students over there are doing well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What time is your grad?
That's it. But we're, trying to get people in around 5:30.
Yeah.
It looks like the weather may actually cooperate a little
You
bit.
think? You think? Might have to swim in.
Yeah, the rain's supposed to stay away till Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah, Saturday, of course, figures.
All right. We have a a report from the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, and we'll start with our students.
Yep, that's you.
That's you.
So what do I start off with? Just what we talked about?
Yeah, it's authentic. It's your voice. Let me tell you, this gentleman right here is super articulate. When he speaks, I think the two of you, and you had a chance to hear him speak. When he speaks with authority and conviction, and he's advocating on behalf of the 11,000 students.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
So this meeting was supposed to be about security and safety of our students. So one of the first topics that we touched on was AI gun detectors, which, yeah, it sounds weird, but so what Mr. Coles brought up to our view was there are these things, they look like metal detectors, right? But they're actually AI. And we could have them at like the gates and the entrance points of our schools so that when students pass through them, the AI just automatically searches them for weapons and babes. So our students thought that that was an extremely beneficial thing and that should be implemented. So that was that. Afterwards, we tackled marijuana use, and we were thinking of ways to actually curb marijuana use. But one of the ideas that was brought up was curbing it through fear, which, you know what it is, it's like, okay, don't do cocaine because you're gonna end up as a crackhead. Don't do that. So instead of, well, we believe that with widespread marijuana use across like the whole country, we can't really implement places, so it's like, we can't cause students to stop smoking weed because of fear. So the only way that they would actually stop doing that is through confiscation of these items, which it is what it is. So we couldn't stop that drug use, but we could have stopped the fentanyl and the prescription pills. So our schools, they don't really have information on fentanyl and the increased drug use of fentanyl in our country. So fentanyl is one of the #1 causes of death in the United States, and that is not reported, and people don't really even know about that. So what we proposed was people going up and actually informing the students about the risks of fentanyl and these pills that are fake and the deaths that they are causing. Because that would actually stop people from dying. This is an important issue in our community because you can see it across California. People are dying at extremely, extremely high rates. And we need to do whatever we can in order to stop it. So that was the proposal on fentanyl. Afterwards, we talked about effective assemblies. So, as you know, schools, they have assemblies, and they target certain things like anti-bullying, Red Ribbon Week, which is anti-drugs, socialization, and other things. So with effective assemblies, right, we need our students to actually understand and stick with what is taught during these assemblies. So let's say anti-bullying, right? A student goes to an anti-bullying assembly, and they just listen. And the moment that they walk out, they don't care about it at all because it doesn't stick with them. So these things that you are trying to implement into these students' head that they should not bully, they shouldn't do drugs, they shouldn't do these things, they walk out and they don't care. So what we try to do is we try to figure out a way to actually make these assemblies more effective. So the way that we propose of doing that is by having them more often. So I propose having them twice a month because once people start thinking of whatever was taught in that assembly and it just keeps on sticking to them, it actually starts being implemented into their mind that this is what should happen. So let's say, okay, what I do is I lead a plus forum in my school. So that is to curb antisocial behavior. So we try to get people to socialize more often, right? So every time that one of our students that has come to our plus forum comes to us and they see us, right? And they see us actually socialize with each other, they get reminded of the fact that they should socialize with each other and create like a more friendly based campus. But let's take one of the Red Ribbon assemblies. Once you leave that assembly, students don't tend to actually take like the information that they learned and actually implement it into their lives. They don't seem to care. So we propose having assemblies more often in order to make students actually care about them. And the next thing that we discussed was mental health. Across our schools, we have a great mental health problem. A lot of our students are clinically depressed, and they just do not want to go to school. So what we proposed was having more counselors and having more mental health conditions across our campuses. Because a lot of our students don't feel comfortable going to our counselors. They just don't feel that what they have to say is safe. So in order to stop that and create a more safe environment for our students, we propose having more counselors on our campuses. I think that wrapped up our meetings. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
What is your name?
My name is Harjot Singh.
And you're from Victor?
Yeah, I'm a junior from Big Valley High School.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll be there next year.
You know, as you know, we use this forum to hear and collect the student voices about, from their opinions of, things that they go through. And you heard a little bit of it today about, mental health and the drug use that they're experiencing on campuses, and, we talked a little bit about fentanyl. And one of the things that we have just recently done was we did training on Narcan, so our security does have it now. We're in the process of getting more Narcan and, the additional training, but that's on campuses now. And, and we've been exploring and talking about ways, about weapons. We live in a world that if we ever think and get complacent that what we see on the news can never happen here, a shame on us. So to hear it from the students and hear it from their voices, and then for them to come up from a very authentic perspective. And Wendy sits on the committee too, and so she's on the committee, and it's been pretty powerful. And this is our third meeting so far this year, and the more that they come, the less shy they are becoming. So it's been really good.
And also you get a pulse for where students are.
It is about their voice.
Exactly. Mhm.
Well, I like that you presented your concerns, but for each concern, you also presented a proposal. So you thought it through. I appreciate that. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's good.
You're leaders. All right, thank you.
Great.
At this time, we'll have public comment. Mr. Close, would you like to read the disclaimer?
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak either during the public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes, if a substantial number of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims or for slander. Public charges or allegations may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions, and it welcomes your participation in the democratic process.
Okay, the first we have is Dr. May. Perhaps. I apologize. Looks like an M-A-Y.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
So I wanted to come here to address the violence in the schools. I've been contacted over the past few years numerous of times about the situations that were occurring. Recently, while I was on vacation out of the country, my little sister contacted me about her daughter. Last year, I had 2 nieces, and all this could be verified, that came and stayed with me in Rancho Cucamonga, taken out of Adelanto High School because of the violence at the high school. My other niece has been jumped 3 times. The first time, the principal called her and told her, the mother, to take her home because he couldn't ensure her safety. That was a concern for me. This third time, she was told to put her on home studies. I don't fault the principal because I feel like a principal, he's only doing his job. You can't expect a person to build a house with a plastic shovel. But as a therapist, I know it is not beneficial for a kid to be on home studies. I told her, do not do that. So because of my little sister, I came and spoke on behalf of her today and a lot of family members that live in the high desert. I like what you said about the mental health. As a therapist, I also understand when you get mental health practitioners in place, they have to understand the culture. I cannot go and treat a client from the LGBT community if I'm not educated in that culture. There's barriers, right? I don't believe in cookie cutter therapy. I believe in basically understanding the population that you represent to provide them with the resources that are needed. Another thing that I wanted to address is, what are you guys doing about the programs? I have called the schools on multiple occasions in the last 2 years to even offer free programs. I work for a company, Simple Solution Psychotherapy, and this is not to basically promote my company. You could Google me. I eat, sleep, and breathe this every day for free with youth. At-risk youth is my passion because I was too an at-risk youth. So if you guys are not going to do anything about the solution, I would just suggest that you guys look into it further. I like what this young man said. It's very true. You know, you guys do need assemblies. We're doing assemblies all through Pomona Unified School Districts. And again, this is not to promote me. This is about the safety of my family members and my nieces. So my question is, what are you guys doing about the violence on campus? There's a lot of girls fighting, and we can't demonize these kids. We can't just say they're thugs, right? The cliche, hurt people hurt others, is true. They lack emotional intelligence. They don't know effective communication skills. I work with clients from affluent areas, from all social economic backgrounds, and I can tell you most people don't know effective communication skills. But if they're not taught that, then what you get is aggression. What you get is fighting. What you get is acting out. But we deem those kids are bad, are misfits. No, they're hurting. How do we fix that problem? I don't blame the kids that jumped my niece. Am I upset? Of course. But I always tell them, think of it from the other's perspective. What are they going through at home and in their life that they're acting out in this manner? Right? We could say this is not a school issue, but it is, because it's happening on your watch, on your grounds. We could say it's the parent's responsibility. It is the parent's responsibility, but it's also our responsibility as a community to ensure that students are getting what they need. We can't overlook the violence. I have family members, a lot that live up here. I have clients that have moved from the high desert down the hill because of this. I've had friends that I know that live up here. They're all saying the same thing. There's no way that everyone could be saying the same thing if this is not a problem. So the only thing that I hope and I pray tonight that you guys are listening to basically put programs in place. And mental health is great, but don't do a cookie cutter job. Do not get clinicians and pay all this money and they're not effective. Just because you have a degree does not mean you can relate to a certain culture. And I don't mean any disrespect by that. I'm going to give you a prime example. I have a contract with Apple Valley Youth Authority. The first thing they asked me in that meeting is, do they understand this population? And what they were saying to me, does your therapist know street? Do they know slang? Do they know certain things that these people are dealing with that they could communicate with them? So if you're going to put the programs in place, just ensure you put the proper people in programs in place. That's all I have to say. Thank you for my time. I hope you guys get the help in the programs that you need for these students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carlos Aguilar?
Hello, everybody. My name is Carlos Aguilar. I am a member of the public. I have a complaint of one of your members, one of your teachers from Adelanto High School. I'm a Lyft driver, and I had an incident with one of your members. She was very, very nasty, very racist. She smoked in my car with the vape, and against my will. And I had to take my daughter with me to drop her off to the babysitter. And I called her and I asked her if this was okay. And she said, yeah, you have the ability to do that on the phone. And once she got to the car, she immediately started treating me with disgust. Like, is that a kid? Is this and that? And I picked her up from your campus, right? And once she got in my car, before she got into my car, I told her, hey, if you're not okay with this, we could cancel this, you know? And she said, no, it was fine. She got in my car. My kid was in the front passenger seat. She's 12. And your teacher like 1 minute into the ride, was calling your kids trash, was happy that she was done, and she immediately started just, becoming this vulgar person. And I immediately had to tell her that if she no longer wanted to, if she wasn't comfortable with this situation, that I could end the ride here. I'm forced to do this because, I'm it's just the situation I'm in. So she said it was okay. We dropped off my kid. After dropping off my kid, she immediately starts lashing out. I'm like, she got more comfortable that there was no kid there, started smoking, and just caused me a great, horrible time. What happened next is I dropped her off from here all the way to Palm Desert, and I nothing but racist comments, you Mexicans, or you people, all these comments, right? I was in shock the whole time. And when I got there, the ride was over. I get a message saying that I'm reported because I have a kid in the car, and I feel very hurt because I put up with all this slander by her, and she still went and tried to hurt me. And so, I have the screenshots that one of your teachers, okay, is a 5.7 on Lyft, okay? And it's I did a 118-mile ride with 150 minutes, okay? And for you to have a 4.7 star, it means that 30 people you have offended 30 people, okay? Now, this is one of your teachers, and something that was really engraved in my mind is how she referred to your students as trash, and that she's going to go live, that she leaves these trenches to go to paradise. Okay, that was a horrible experience to me. I am a father. I have a daughter. My wife is in nursing school, and I explained to her how difficult it was for me, and that I just needed to drop off my kid on the way to her destination, and she agreed, only for her to betray me. So I am really concerned for your kids. She also mentioned, I don't know why she did this, but she mentioned how she sabotaged kids and got them dropped out of her class. And this is very upsetting, especially because my daughter got to witness some of her behavior, and my kid is actually an honor roll student, okay? My kid, this is what I got yesterday before. This is the only reason I fight to do everything I can for my family, right? Hello, good afternoon. I would like to invite Juliet to get recognized for her academic performance. She is part of the honor roll. The event is going to be at Shadow Ridge on our Main Street location, January 18th. So, this whole situation is horrible, and I'm gonna be fine. I can go back to work at the dealership, no problem. And I am deactivated because your teacher made it, but she could have easily said, you know what? You have the kid, let's cancel. I can cancel, no problem. And I guess, that's my fault. But the fact that your teacher is kind of did the, so I'm just very disappointed, and it was just, that's all I had to say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry for that experience and for whatever your daughter heard or was in the presence of. I'm sorry about that. Shantae Smith Bridges.
Good evening. I came to address the safety concerns. Like my sister said, my daughter, since school has started, has been jumped 3 times. Now she's out of school on the 15-day independent studies because she's fearing for her safety as well as me and her father. She had to do OCI after the second time, but it's like 15 girls go to OCI to get her out of there, and she's the one, her and my little cousin are the ones that gets locked into the room with security while these girls are running free, doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want. This last time, which was last Thursday, we got the call, she got jumped. Me and my husband came up to the school, and one of the girls that jumped her, 2 of them, is me and my husband was listening. She's cussing out staff and everything else outside of the room. Then she comes in there and she's like, "Oh, we just beat these bees up," and everybody's just standing there in shock. Nobody does anything to this girl, but my daughter's the one that's at home and having to do independent studies, and I'm not okay with that. I don't want my daughter to have to be in independent studies. I want her to be able to experience all that a normal high school has to offer. But at the same time, I don't want to have to send my daughter to school to have to be fighting. Because she's a kid and she's not going to just get hit. She's going to swing back. And in doing that, the first time she was called, she became the aggressor. Because once she was able to swing, she did. And I didn't agree with that neither. So my issue is OCI is not working. These kids are doing stuff to go to OCI because it's like a hangout spot. So what are we really doing as far as consequences to these kids? That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. At this time, we'll have our VVTA report. Mike Mayo.
All right, good evening, board members and cabinet. My name is Mike Mayo, the Victor Valley Teachers Association president. I speak on behalf of 489 bargaining unit members. All right, so first, School Board Recognition Month. We would like to thank the board for your service to our students and staff. We recognize the frustrations of your position, and we appreciate your service. We know that sometimes you feel abused. Maybe sometimes you deserve it, but you guys have been doing a great job recently, so we really appreciate it. I'm sorry, I just added that part.
Couldn't resist, Mike.
I would like to say, because of some recent comments that were made, I would like to apologize on the part of VVTA for anybody who's been. It really did strike a chord with me that has happened to you with one of our members, and I really do apologize for what you had to go through and what your child had to go through. That really is unfair, and that is an issue. All right. COVID leave extension. It was Mr. Coles. Mr. Coles and I actually did have a brief conversation. We discussed an interest to extend the COVID leave window to at least through February, which would be amazing. We had some members who were hoping that would be the case. We had at least one member who got really close to the mark, end up with COVID toward the end of the break, and then had to eat into the sick time, of course, and that can become a big issue, especially if you end up with COVID more than once. Then it starts to eat into the sick time, and so we hope that can be the case if we can get an extension. I understand that some other districts are also doing this, including some local ones, and as I said, it'd just be very helpful. In regards to community schools, and the narrative that I have written here has changed somewhat. I appreciate Dr. Mayo for coming up. I would like to see more of that. People sharing those frustrations. Shante, also, I'm sorry I forgot your last name. My apologies. But it's important that we hear those kinds of stories. It's not unusual for us to hear stories from members about how dangerous the campus is. And it's not just one campus. There are several sites that it makes it frustrating for a lot of students to go to school. And it's absolutely horrible that you have students who are having to go to independent studies and they're not the perpetrators. And it's going to take a great deal of services, a lot of wraparound services, and as you said, no cookie cutter stuff is going to really work. It's going to require a multitude of things to try to resolve a systemic issue that we have in the schools. And no, we don't want to step into the realm where we start calling students thugs. That's not where we want to go. We want to talk about how we can reach a resolution and try to help them where they are. And that's why when I'm bringing up community schools, I'm hoping that this is a way to try to resolve some of those issues. So our VVTA Executive Board is working on a draft for a community school resolution. and we anticipate completing it within the next week. We have, it is just a draft right now, but we want to make sure we get things right. We also urge the Board of Trustees to do the same with the help of the cabinet or VVTA. I'd be willing to help you personally. A resolution from Victor Valley Teachers Association combined with a separate resolution from Victor Valley Union High School District would announce to the public, the community, that we are moving forward with community schools, invested in celebrating and uplifting the whole child. I think that's what a lot of this comes down to. Uplifting the entire child. And I couldn't have said it better myself, but the idea that you have children who are coming to school, and yes, it's true, parents are supposed to help raise their children. We understand that. But when we have access to things at schools to try to do the same thing and uplift the children for what they need, helping all students with what they need when they need it, and having those resources available, that's part of what a community school is supposed to do. As we begin making plans to transform at least one of our schools into a community school, VVTA believes the varying perspectives of our association must be part of the planning process. We further believe the interests of students from all of our sites are important, as well as their families. So please take that into account in all the planning that goes forward. Are we choosing students to make sure that they're helping to create and talk about those issues? As you just saw earlier, you have students who are speaking about the issues that they have. And when you're hearing those issues coming directly from the students, it means that it's a very important perspective that sometimes that can kind of go missing. And so I want to make sure that we get different sites' perspective from different students, just as we are from different staff members. That includes classified as well. Okay, conferences. Somewhat related to community schools, there is an Equity and Human Rights Conference that takes place on March 17th through 19th. This is something I would normally bring up on the side, but a lot of things have been going on recently. We just had a rep council meeting last night. We believe that VVTA and VVUHSD have a shared interest to invest in the training of our members to become more knowledgeable and actively involved in equity and human rights. Because this provides opportunities to further involve more of our members in discussions of equity and how these things can be transformative for community schools, we asked the district to send about 5, maybe 6 members to this conference with the expectation that VVTA will report back what we learned and move that knowledge forward in the district. This is one of the many things that we can do to take steps to ensure that we are meeting students where they need to be met and understanding where some of those issues are and how we can try to resolve them. I want to thank Dr. Yee for getting me the list of the members who did sign up for a good teaching conference. VVTA will be sending out a couple of reminders and help members navigate their way to and through the conference. For negotiations, VVTA does look forward to meeting with the district at the table to bargain reopeners for this school year. My hope is that it is open and honest, leading both teams to a fair settlement. It would be great to settle both this year's and next year's reopeners, of course, starting with this year's first and then moving on from there. In regards to LGBTQ+, VVTA thanks the principals who have taken the information Jenny Thompson shared with them and are taking actions to help address issues of equity involving LGBTQ+ concerns. We are in the process of setting up LGBTQ+ liaisons at each of our sites. So far, we have at least 3 of the sites, but we want to make sure we get them at all sites. There are special ed changes. I know, Dr. Yee, you and I haven't had a chance to actually meet yet. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. And I understand that these special education changes, they may require an MOU because it looks like it's requiring more work from our special education teachers, which means that it's something that's bargainable. And I understand that an MOU would probably make sense because it's not something, it's kind of a window of time, and it's not something that they're going to have to do forever. It's something that's going to take place for a little while, but I want to make sure that we are aware of that and we're ready to discuss it. Good news, no grievances. That's great. So long as there are no grievances because there haven't been any issues, and not no grievances because we just aren't aware and we aren't taking the proper steps. But I think it's great. It makes things easier for everybody if we don't have to fight all the time. Most of the stuff is getting resolved well before that, and so I appreciate that. I would like to say congratulations to Raina Franklin from Adelanto High School. That's huge. I guess on the Today Show, LA, there was the scrolling text that was at the bottom indicating that she is going to be going to Brown University. She has a 4.7 GPA. It's huge. This is amazing. Some thanks, I think, goes to the Heritage Program over at Adelanto High School. And then what this does is it helps to unlock the potential of our students. If we didn't have some programs, I'm not saying it's all because of Heritage, I'm saying this is part of it. If we don't have programs like that to help unlock the potential of our students and give them access to those resources, it's hard to get them to be successful and see where their real potential is. And Raina is an example of somebody who is successful. She's done a great job, and we were able to unlock that potential. Right, I'd like to say thank you for your time and have a good night.
Thank you. CSEA? No report? Okay. All right, we'll move to consent items, which includes 9.1 through quite a few pages on this long version here. Oh, thank you. 9.19. Thank you, Papa. Okay, do I have any questions or concerns about consent items?
Mine was answered, so that was taken care of.
Your Tom did.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Do we need that for consent items?
Yeah,
Motion
just
to
the
approve.
motion and the approval,
Okay.
just like you have.
Mhm. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Action items 10.1, certificated personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
And Christine, you'll speak on this? Is that correct?
That's okay on these, they're just pretty routine on
Okay.
the certificate and classified.
And this is the one she doesn't speak on.
She doesn't vote on it. Okay. And 10.2, classified personnel report.
So moved.
Well, can you guys go back real quick? You need to actual
Yeah,
vote.
we need to vote.
A vote on the 10.1.
We didn't vote on 10-1.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, you had moved it. Someone over here had seconded. Is that
I
correct?
made the motion.
I thought Barbara moved
seconded it,
second.
yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
And now 10-10.
10.2, classified personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
All in, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. 10.3, approval to form and establish a new middle school.
So moved.
So moved.
Dr. Yee, would you like to speak on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the process in order for us to establish a new middle school is to actually submit an application for our CDS code. The process is actually pretty timely. It shouldn't take too long. But what is required is listed here is the school information. We need the school address. We need a principal. We also need the applicant information, which is us, of course. And then we also need to make sure that the board does take an approval this evening so that we can have the minutes to say that, you know, it's been brought to the board for their approval. So all these things we'll need to do, probably sooner than later, coming up with the school name and so forth. So we are asking the board this evening to go ahead and approve that so we can get that going and get the application going as well too, so that we can have our new middle school.
And then in addition to this is the first step of getting the CDS code with the state. The second step is just board policy about a committee that gets formed, about naming the school, and some other, you know, pieces that involve community. So we'll definitely bring that back forward to you guys in February. But this gets the ball rolling so we get the application submitted. You know, there's just a lot of paperwork, to get this happening and quick turnaround time. So this is the next step in the process.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 10.5, and Shanti, would you like to?
10.4.
I apologize. I need this
You're
smaller.
too fast.
I know, no, I'm not reading this well. 10.4, contract for frontline education.
Yes, so we are seeking to contract with Frontline Education to come in and do a district-wide physical inventory. And so for that inventory, they will check all of our equipment and technology for all items, tag all items. Then they will provide a detailed listing of all of our inventory items to us. We need to do this in order to remain compliant and actually to get into compliance with some of our federal grants. We do have a federal program monitor finding where we were not able to provide adequate inventory data for equipment that was purchased with some of our COVID dollars that we received. And really, that's a result of us, I believe, at the time during COVID, probably working remote and just not properly tracking at that time. In order for us to get back on track, we need to do this complete inventory, have the listings completed, and then we'll use this data to reconcile and import into our financial management system. Any questions?
And then I think the important part is too, is that once this is done, the bigger picture of this whole thing is Shanti and her team, they've got a plan so that this doesn't happen again. It's a one-time piece. After that, it's gonna be about the ongoing inventory and how we would, with all the asset tags so that we can keep this process going and not need this again.
All right, so my question would be, so is this gonna take the place of, well, every year we vote on X number of, people in the tech department having to do a, nationwide inventory of all the sites and everything. So will this eliminate that expense so they could free them up to do some of the other things that they could get done instead of having to inventory? Plus, staff members, teachers, you have to turn in an inventory of everything in your room before you can check out. So will that take that load off of the personnel so they don't have to do it also?
Okay, unfortunately, the answer is no. So this is a one-time project to inventory all of our equipment. It's not just technology related. So unfortunately, that annual inventory and check will have to go on. That's something that we're required to do to make sure that we're maintaining all of our devices. Are we getting all of our devices back from the students? Do we know where all of our items are? And so unfortunately, that's something that the tech department will have to continue to do on an annual basis.
So have to duplicate our efforts then, I guess.
Well, this is a broader scope. This is a
Right,
broader
yeah,
scope
that's-
than
this is
simply
very
technology.
inclusive. That's why I'm wondering,
Right.
if it's that thorough, why should everybody have to do the same thing when they could be doing something more constructive? in my
Well,
opinion?
one of the biggest things with this one is we have an obligation with the taxpayer dollars. So when we purchase something, it comes in to asset tag it so that we have an inventory of it, so it doesn't get stolen
Right.
and those pieces. The other piece is once what Shantae was talking about, like the tech piece. Once it's here already, we would have already asset tagged it, but then we have to do another inventory to get it back. So yeah, there is some duplication, but they're a little bit different to the process because.
I understand that. It just seems redundant. But anyway, okay, thank you.
Some part to that is because we had COVID, and for the 2 to 3 years, we weren't really cognizant of what was coming in, what was going out, and now there's a demand from the federal government, especially, to know where was that money spent and where did it go. So, and that's one of the reasons this is coming about right now.
Absolutely.
And it's not just us. It's 33 districts within the San Bernardino County. It's 1,000 districts throughout the state of California. So it's not just us.
Shonda, I did hear from Mr. Cole that you do have a plan to continue this. I was in the district for 41 years, and probably about a third of the time I actually did my report of what I had and didn't have, so I was a bad boy, so I'll slap my own hand. But I didn't do it every year, and you know, after 3 or 4 years, particularly with computer stuff, you know, it's like, it's a paperweight. And if I didn't do it for a number of years in a row, who knows what happened to it, you know? So we do have a plan that's. gonna
Yes,
be in
we're
place.
definitely going to implement a plan to keep up with these checks, and especially with the items that are purchased with our federal dollars. We're required to actually go and do a physical check at least every other year. So once we get this, and this is going to be baseline, we have a plan within the Fiscal Services Department to keep up, to keep the inventory up for one, and then to conduct these checks like that we're required to do.
Okay, super, thank you.
And while we're on this before you vote on it, just to put a little plug out there, one of the reasons, and we briefly talked about it, especially of a district of our size, you know, that we continue to explore, is really the need for a purchasing director. You get the right one, it pays for itself because of the bids, and right now what happens is the directors and principals are out on their own purchasing, and it comes directly to them. And when you have a purchasing director who works directly with the central warehouse, you actually get it in the very beginning. And that process, it's not here right now, and everybody's kind of, it's on their own. But over time, you know, it'd be something for us to explore, which would be a big part of this process that, you know, Shanti's kind of bringing forward. So future, but without a doubt, I think we've got a good plan moving forward and one to kind of get a baseline, so.
Maybe that can be on a upcoming agenda or a study session. All right, and I apologize. I don't think I took a motion and second before I called on you. So Jose moved.
Second.
Second, Rosie. Okay, now that we've heard the presentation and asked questions, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 10.5, a purchase from JTech. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Second.
Thank you. And Shanti, you're up again.
Okay, so we actually worked into our ESSER plan for us to go to update our outdated Wi-Fi infrastructure. So in order to do that, we need to replace old outdated access points that are run on an old legacy system. And so this is necessary so that we can keep up with all of these thousands of Chromebooks, all of these thousands of laptops that we have purchased and brought into the district. We need to make sure that they're being able to have the proper connectivity necessary. In addition to that, I mean, just like we have smart classrooms, we're doing lots of presentations, more Google Meeting. So we're really putting stress on our current outdated systems. And like I said, so this is actually a part of our ESSER plan, so it's already documented in the plan. It's already accounted for in the budget. And so we're just requesting approval to go ahead and make the purchase.
Okay, I just have a question, okay? I seem to recall, well, more than once, that we've approved updating whatever equipment for our Wi-Fi systems. So the question is going to be, how often do we have to do this?
Well, yes, it's going to be ongoing. You're going to have to update that type of technology probably every 3 to 5 years, just to be honest. I mean, technology it's changing frequently. But it's really just, I think, at the rate that we've increased so many devices and we're just really putting stress on the things that we have and they're not adequate, our Wi-Fi is not adequately performing, then we need to take this opportunity, especially while we have the federal dollars, to make these replacements. Now, moving forward, we won't have the federal dollars forever, so we'll need to work these things into kind of into a replacement plan or replacement cycle for our technology department. We need to really kind of establish like maybe a 5 or 7 year plan to recycle some of this hardware and equipment, because we're going to have to keep it up once the federal dollars are
Well, and I
gone.
believe you. It just seems like we did this more recently than 3 to 5 years ago. Like when COVID hit, so we could accommodate all the Chromebooks and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just curious on this because, I know it's needed, but how many times do we, change oil in our car, that kind of a deal.
Well, you got to do that every 3,000 miles.
Yeah, but not every 1,000 miles.
No, 3,000.
Okay, thank you.
Or use synthetic and then go to 7.
Well, while we got the one-time money, we might as well do what we need to do.
Right, and like I
That's
said,
right,
so
yeah.
we're coming up with a plan to actually, work these things into our budgets once the one-time monies are gone, so
already
that
has
we're on a
another
replacement plan.
Yeah, that's true. The pot of gold
Very
may
smart.
disappear soon.
Thank you for doing that. Technology.
Shanti, when do we get to take advantage of Y rates? it doesn't apply to this, but what kind of things is it
Our
only the?
E-rate?
Maybe
E-rate?
I thought it was a Y rate. I know it's the stuff under Mr. Bertelson. A lot of that is.
Yes, it's E-rate.
E-rated?
It's E-rated, and we buy a lot of our hardware, a lot of our large purchases. Actually, we get that under our E-rate, and so we take advantage of that all the time.
But that doesn't apply to this.
No, it doesn't apply to this particular project.
Okay. All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Item 11.1, claim for damages.
So moved.
I'll take a second.
Second.
Okay, Barbara and Jose. And Shanti, would you speak on this one as well?
Yes, so we are denying this particular claim for damages because through investigation, we actually have proof that our bus was parked in a parking lot and that the claimant claims that we hit their bus. But through the investigation, we've discovered, Mr. Dickinson has discovered that that's in fact not true. We in fact were not moving, and so we recommend that we deny this claim.
Okay, any questions? I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. And moving on to information and discussion items, conference requests. Any questions about that? Or 12.2, educational study field trips? All right. We'll move to item 13.1, business services division. Shanti, you're up again.
Sorry, let me catch up here. Okay, great. So thank you. So this evening, I just want to mention just a couple of really brief things to let you know what's going on in the division. First, here's a little feel-good moment. Again, Mr. Dickinson has been working with the company. It's Good, Fast, Cheap. And they want to come in, well, they will come in and utilize one of our high schools, Adelanto High School. They're going to utilize their football field to actually film a French McDonald's commercial. And so that is going to happen on the 25th of January. This is a very well-recognized company. They've done commercials for McDonald's, Wendy's, BMW, very huge companies. And so we're bringing this to you now to let you know that this is happening, but Mr. Dickinson is also trying to negotiate possibly a donation to the school for the use of our facility. And so at a later board meeting, if we are successful, then we'll be bringing that donation to the board.
McDonald's.
The second thing that I just want to briefly mention is that on January 10th, Governor Newsom did propose his state budget for the 23-24 year. And we're going to actually the governor's workshop next week, but there's just a couple of just quick points I want to mention. So as a result of the budget, I know many people are hearing that we actually do have a revenue gap of a state revenue gap of $22.5 billion. Although he does have proposals to fill that gap in various ways, one-time funding, spending delays, that type of thing. The rainy day fund for public school systems, he's proposing to bring that fund up to $8.5 billion, which is above 3% of expenditures. And so as a result of that, you guys will see in the next budget that I present, which will be 23-24, we will again have that 10% cap on reserves. So when we bring that budget to you guys, if we're above that 10% revenue cap, then we'll be proposing ways to commit or assign dollars above the 10%. So just FYI. Proposition 98, which is how we get our funding, is being funded at almost $109 billion for next year. And the LCFF, so the local control funding formula, he's proposed a fully funded COLA of 8.13%. And so that is big news for us because that's up nearly 3% from what had been estimated in the prior budget. And special education as well. He's proposing the same COLA of 8.13% for special education. So we're going to the workshop that's being put on by School Services next week. So we'll have a lot more information to bring back. From this point, we will start working on our budget. We'll start meeting with departments and pulling together that data as we work through our second interim, and then start working on our budget for next year.
So are they talking about for sure going back and doing deferrals, or are they just saying that's one option?
No. From what I understand, they're not proposing deferrals at all, at least for school, public school funding, because Proposition 98 is being fully funded. So that's not on the table for us. I'm sure they'll have to deal with some other state commitments.
One of the things that he mentioned was that in funding the arts and music and band, he was thinking about pulling 1 so many billion from that.
1.9, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that, in order to make sure that that we pay PERS and STIRS and stuff like that. So we're talking to him about not doing that, because this is the first time that we've gotten this much money even for bands and art and music. So that's an ongoing conversation that we're having with him right now about that. So we wouldn't like for that to leave there. And he does want to save the reserve.
Right.
Mhm.
And as you go to school services, are both bargaining unit leaders involved
Yes,
with that?
yes. So both bargaining unit leaders will be there, as well as I think there are maybe 4 of our employees from business services as well will be there. So these are employees that will, help and assist, with the preparation of the budget. So it's important for them to understand what's going on.
We know you're not making it up, huh?
No,
I
it's not
can't
being
hide
made
it.
True.
It's out here.
That's why the associations finally got invited after years. Says, okay, we hear it, you hear it. We get the same message, so nobody can lie to each other.
And then do we have anybody attending the capital advisors presentation? Is that, I think that's another version from another group that's
It's
similar
at-
to school
Yeah,
services?
it's at West End.
Okay.
So,
You know what? I'll make a note of that. No, not that I know of so far.
okay.
Capital
That's a
advisors.
good one, too.
Yeah, it's at the West End, down in San Bernardino.
I think it's free to attend.
It is.
free.
It's free.
It is
It's
free.
full already, but if you show up, they're not going to turn you away.
She crashes Comic-Con, so she knows.
SwitchCon. SwitchCon was my last one.
Yeah, that
Wasn't it
was the one.
SwitchCon I went to?
Something like that.
SwitchCon.
They gave you a badge, I don't know what it was.
I ended up at SwitchCon because I had my sneakers on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all from business services.
Very informative all night long. Thank you. Ed Services, Dr. Yee.
All right, good evening, Board of Trustees, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And Wendy, welcome. Thank you so much for being our student board member for second semester. So, great. Just a couple of updates. Yesterday, we actually had our first LCAP advisory meeting and had a lot of nice turnouts. We had students, we had a couple of parents, we classified, certificated admin, really dug into the data a little bit and kind of look into some of the things that we're doing really well, some areas that we need to grow on, and really letting it inform kind of our LCAP as we do the annual LCAP update for this year. Want a special thank you to Dr. Cook for just really facilitating a very meaningful and rich discussion. Really, our community's voice, everyone's voice is so important to this process. It is a bear because it is, if you've read our LCAP, there's a lot of work going into it. So we're looking forward to continuing this. Our second meeting is going to be in early February. So we'll report out a little bit more about that as we attack goal 2 of the LCAP during that meeting. Okay, so LCAP. Also too, just looking forward to our OCR workshop, board workshop on the 19th. I know Mr. Williford has prepared to provide an update, and last week we did get our expert consultant for OCR that the board had approved in previous meetings. And he went around and really just got to know our campus and talked to administrators and just kind of acclimated himself to our schools and so forth. So we're looking forward to that board workshop. Also, congratulations to Raina Franklin. How wonderful is that to just have such, superstars in our district. and being able to recognize at that caliber. So congratulations to her. Brian, thank you so much for being here this evening to provide the semi-annual update, and we look forward to hearing the update again in May or June, whenever that's going to be. So thank you. And lastly, thank you, board. Thank you for the work that you do to serve our students and really ensuring that we meet the needs of all of our students. It is our moral imperative, and just making sure that there isn't that huge gap that we're seeing. So just appreciation to you all for what you do.
Thank you.
With our LCAP, or something I learned yesterday that is the governor might give us $300 million extra for kids in poverty. he said.
Unduplicated
That's
pupils.
what he was saying.
Mhm.
Kids in poverty. Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Coles, will you be doing HR?
There's nothing to report today.
Okay. Legislation?
I mean, Barbara and I can
Barbara?
tag team this, but a lot of it's been just said. You know, hopefully the money comes in. and
Yes.
Hopefully
I'm working on it.
What he promised it stays in, and hopefully by the time we hit the May revise,
Yeah.
it's more money.
Yeah, it'll be more money. We had him at 8.31 instead of 8.13, but he did come up with the 8.13. We had him at 8.31, but at least we're still in the eights, so that's good. Yeah. We're working on it.
In addition to the COLA, are they projecting any augmented funds for the supplemental or concentration grants like that happened this year?
Not that I've learned so far.
Okay. All right, we'll move to board member comments. Mr. Barrios?
Oh, okay. Well, first off, Happy New Year, everybody. And first thing, yesterday, I had the pleasure of going with Mr. Crosby and Mr. Coles to visit Sims and Silverado, and that was always good. I always enjoy going to the sites. Sometimes I enjoy it too much, like a little kid, I guess, in a candy store. And then after that, we went to the student, advisory committee. So that was kind of like the icing on the cake, and it was really cool. All right, okay, you talked yesterday, and you did a good job today, and you and your partner Wendy did a great job talking, and it's to me like being back when you had a class, and students were giving you honest feedback without having to mince words. They were very direct and sometimes blunt, but that was the only way to get some real important information, because there were some things that, the adults, they'll say, oh yeah, this is a great deal. And then the students are saying, well, it didn't work so well, but it was okay, but you could do this, because there's always room for improvement. And, we know what we have to do, but the students know best on the ground floor whether it's working or not. So that's the good thing. And talking about safety and that sort of stuff, I think we got some pretty good ideas on some of their feedback and some of their suggestions that were really simple, to be quite honest about it. And next, would like to congratulations to Raina Franklin. That was really cool, to see another one of our students. That's not the first one. Another one of our students, do well and getting to go to an Ivy League school. Not that an Ivy League school's the answer to everything, but it's pretty prestigious, all right? She can join Tyrone Brown's son, who, he went to Harvard, and we've had other ones. Mr. Crosby could have a laundry list of students we've had over the years. So, and we tell people, I still tell them, say, hey, we got talent up here. It's just, they don't always get advertised. And basically, and that's it. I know, I'm sorry, but that's it, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Crosby?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody, and we're excited about this. And a couple things. One, I agree completely. We want to, Raina, Ms. Franklin, we want to congratulate her. I personally, I went the junior college route because that's what my parents could afford. I couldn't afford to go to a four-year college, so I went junior college. And I'm every bit as thrilled about my junior college acceptance as I'm sure she is about hers. But like Jose said, hers is a little more prestigious, okay, than my. But if our kids going junior college or 4 years, we're excited for all of them. But particularly for her right now, because that is such a feather in her cap. That cool. We're really excited for her. I was able to go visit Sims in Silverado, and we want to thank the Heather. We thank you for the tour that you took us on, and I know that you're very grateful for Mr. Coles after his visit. You probably want him on your campus more often now because he ate that lunch that you provided. And so thank you very much for a wonderful lunch. I didn't eat it because I took mine home and gave it to my wife because Mr. Coles bought us lunch. But I'm sure it was, my wife said it was delicious, but okay, so I'm sure it was great. But thank you very much. And also Ms. Cuevas over at Sims, she gave us a wonderful tour of Sims, and it's wonderful to see that. And we certainly hope that the concrete work is done soon there. They have some open holes there from the gas leak that haven't been filled in, and we hope that gets filled in soon. But we're very excited for that. I'd like to thank the people that came and spoke tonight. And I'll apologize to the Lyft driver. Good and bad, you're going to get that happen, and we're sorry that had to be one of us, but hopefully he'll have better experience with us in the future, and he won't have that to do. I'd also like to thank you for what you had to say. You weren't there at the student meeting that we talked about, the student advisory, but what you had to say as parent, mother and grandmother, I guess, am I getting that right? Or mother and sister.
Oh, he's in trouble now. He's in trouble.
Oh, now you've done it.
I apologize.
Just thank the people.
But anyhow, the students addressed that very issue. And they said, as you said, that OCI is not effective. That the kids sit there and say, hey, let's go to OCI this period and we'll have a party, and we'll have play. And yet, we have to be very concerned about suspensions. We don't want to suspend kids. So OCI came in. So we're looking at things. And I want you to know that we are looking at things, and we're going to try to resolve. It's not an easy, we thought OCI would solve the problem. We don't have to suspend the kids. And instead, it's become too often playground. And so we do understand that. We are looking at it, and thank you for your insights and your wonderful suggestions. And hopefully, between the kids and concerned parents and others, we do hope that we will get this figured out. And please let us know where we're not doing things right, because we do need to correct those things. And thank you so much. And then finally, Wendy, welcome. Welcome aboard, and we're excited about you here. I got to hear you at the Student Advisory Committee and others that were there, but particularly thank you for taking this, because this is an important responsibility, and thank you for taking it on. And so that's fine for tonight.
All right. Barbara.
Okay, I want to thank all the students that are here, because that is a big thing. And thank you for letting us know what's happening with students, because that is where I gauge everything that's going on within even our community, is with the students themselves. I did go to SwitchCon, You know about SwitchCon? No. Do you? Oh, see. Well,
It's like a Comic-Con.
it's like a Comic-Con.
It's cosplay and all dressed up, and
Well, I
she was
walked
wearing
in
her
there,
sneakers.
and I had my sneakers on. I walked down to it, and I went in, and I said, wow, this is really different, for my conference. And it was one of those kind of Comic-Con type things where they had just brought it back to San Diego. So it was really interesting. But it wasn't my real conference that I was at.
Can I just say, someday you'll get as hip as she is, and so you'll understand all this.
I have to stay on top of everything, because we're actually headed for Mars. Does that sound crazy? Yeah.
Musk is working on that right
Anyway,
now.
no. And so there is now a new force, not only Air Force, Marines, and all the other forces, but is now a Space Force. So you and him are going to end up in something similar to that, because you're already headed for it with all of the dynamics you have for technology. So probably within years to come, we'll have something similar to the Jetsons and everybody flying in space or whatever. But you guys might be the ones that invent that, you know. So that's what I was just thinking about, how you guys you're headed for a different world other than what the world that I was brought up in, which was so segregated in all kind of ways and things that happen. First of all, I want to say I thank you students for coming and speaking today. It's really great. And I thank the families that came today that spoke. This is how we hear about what's going on or get a feel for what is going on, is when you show up and you tell us. So I'm sorry about some of the experiences that you're experiencing. Even for the guy that he's not here, is he?
Oh, he left.
Did he leave?
Yeah.
He left. But we are definitely going to be looking into what is going on and see what's happening. I don't want you to think you came here for no reason at all. There's nothing's going to happen. Our superintendent will definitely be on top of it to see what is going on and what's happening with you and with the person that was here. We are working for you as our constituents, you know. So we really do like hearing or prefer to hear it from you and what has happened, but we will help with whatever is going on out there. We do need programs, and that's something that our superintendent is working on right now, is some programs that we need to help some of our students and our people. We do not like to have kids out as much as we did. We have worked on it, but we do have to work on that a little bit more. Let's see here. Also, we need to make sure that we extend the COVID extension, because, you know, people are coming back from their vacations or wherever they've been. So we've got a lot of stuff going on with people coming back with COVID. So perhaps we can do that for February till the end. Is that what you were speaking of, Mayor? Yeah, we should extend that because a lot of other people already have. I don't know if you has.
They're not, but Hesperia is.
I think there's
So
some
just
other
adjust that.
districts.
We're gonna extend it till February 28th and see what the governor's gonna do, because that's the day that he's allegedly going to lift the state of emergency.
Yeah, that's when he's
and then we'll
gonna
go
lift
from
it.
there.
Right.
So right now we'll carry it out to the 28th.
Right,
And then we'll figure
until
out what we need to do next.
until the governor's date anyway, so at least we'll do it till then. And then we'll see what's happening within our district. And basically, that's it, and Happy New Year, everyone. I actually broke down and bought myself a new car. I can't believe it.
It's a new year, it's a new car.
I don't do that. I just keep my old BMW thing, whatever, and that's it. But oh no, I have to get a new car. It's got so many gadgets, I need you guys to help me. I said, what is that? It's like one of those space cars. You push the button here, you push the button.
Yeah, I can use the radio.
Thank you.
That's about it.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
We'll have to go in your new car for ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Don't drop anything in it.
Okay. Rosie.
Thanks, Penny.
First of all, I'd like to wish
everybody a happy new year. I hope that it's filled with love, happiness, and good health for you all. I'd like to welcome Wendy Contreras on her seat on the board. I know we're looking forward to working with you and having you here and letting us know everything that's going on. I'd also like to apologize to the Uber driver and his daughter. It's unfortunate that happened. I'm glad he came here and told us about it.
Yeah.
Because that
That's how you can.
just shouldn't be going on.
It's from teachers and people.
I'd like to congratulate, again, the Family Engagement Group for the great job they did as a super award. It's things like that that makes us a little prouder over here, knowing that what's going on with the district and all the good things that are going on. I'd like to thank the students that stuck around for the rest of the evening. Thank you for being here. You're always welcome. The Windy Group, and to the family from Adelanto, apologize to you and your daughter. It's unfortunate that something like that has happened. I hope that we can do something about that and look into it and get that taken care of. But thank you for coming and telling us about it and letting us know what transpired. I think that's about it. And thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
And thank you for the cookies.
Yes.
I looked in already. I thought it was candy.
Hey, cookies are better.
Oh, cookies are better.
Before I have Wendy give her comments, Heather, I know you're very proud of her because she is a Hawk, but before she was a Hawk, she was a Discovery Knight, and she was one of my students. So I would like to introduce Wendy Contreras, our student board member, and it's your turn to give comments, Wendy.
You got all the cool kids.
Cool kids. Cool.
First, I'd like to thank the board. It's really a privilege and honor to be here, to be a bridge between the students and the board, because that's ultimately what I'm here for. And just I hope we continue to keep the accountability of the board members, and for all the comments that everyone made. I do want to tell you guys that, like, we all apologize for what happened. I feel sorry about it. It's very unfortunate, and I hope that you believe me when I say that I trust these board members, and that especially the student advisory committee, that we will be finding solutions to many of these issues, because we do have them on our campus as well. And just me and the Victor Valley representative too, we have a lot of solutions that hopefully come into light, and I know we'll be seeing some of these solutions not too soon, but hopefully very soon. And yeah, just thank you. This is my first meeting, and hopefully I get less shy about it, but thank you all for coming and being respectful. I hope we continue to have these conversations with respectability and just everything else.
Thank you, Wendy. Good job.
Great. Great, Wendy.
I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for recognizing the board and the work that we do. We do it in honor of our students and our staff. I would like to congratulate Raina from Adelanto, going to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, where my family's from. And I know that in February, we're going to honor not only Raina, but her staff that helped her along her way. So we will get to meet her in person.
Cool.
Mr. Coles, could you please, you or your staff, work with our parents that came up and gave comments, and all three of them, so that we can help resolve any issues there.
You'll hear from my office tomorrow.
And your number was on the yellow card that you gave, so he knows how to get a hold of you. I'd like us to consider whatever we can do to help our new teachers, the ones that aren't with an induction coach, to make sure that they're getting the support they need, knowing that they are the greenest of the green and they're given their heart and soul, so that we can give them some mentorship. I want to thank our Golden Bell recipients. Michael, extend another thank to all of your hard work and the people who have made our Family Engagement Center so productive, our resource center. I would like to thank the students who've come and those of you that are on the Student Advisory Committee. If you could please extend our thanks to your colleagues there, because that's where we're going to hear the things that we need to change. But like I said earlier, thank you for coming up with some solutions also. We need to hear that. Brian, congratulations to your options for youth students. I am sorry I won't be at the attendance of the graduation tomorrow. I have a CTA conference and we need to leave before that. It's in Vegas, so I'm sorry I won't be there. But I want to support you and your students any way I can. And it's so delightful to hear how you work so closely together with Dr. Yee, because there are students all together. I'd like everyone to think about what you're going to do to honor Dr. Martin Luther King, how you're going to reach out to people, how you're going to extend a friendly hand, how you're going to help someone and honor a very wonderful person that we miss. And at this time, thank you very much for all being here. Thank you for staying to the end. And Mr. Coles, it's your turn.
So I too would like to welcome Wendy, our student board rep. I don't know if you know this or not, but she has a weighted GPA of 4.34. It places her in the top 10% of her graduating class of 471 students. She currently serves as the ASB president. In her junior year, she was the junior class president. Her sophomore and freshman year, she served as the commissioner. She has an interest in pursuing nursing in the future. She plans to attend UC Irvine or Cal State Long Beach, pending her college acceptances. So we look forward to hearing about those as they start coming in. So welcome. Also like to welcome Shanti. This is her first meeting. Heck of a job today. Very complicated numbers, succinct. And so welcome up here on the dais, and I look forward to many, many more opportunities, you know, in the presentations that will come, being able to take something so complicated that you and your team do day in and day out and making it make sense for my small brain. So, Shanti, thank you so much. Absolutely, again, to reiterate, I appreciate our families who came out and spoke. We'll be in contact with the Lyft driver and our families, by tomorrow and find some resolutions to what's going on. But they brought up two issues, right? It's a short-term thing about their family, a long-term thing, and you heard it from VVTA about how do we continue to solve the issues, on our campuses. And a lot of good ideas are being generated, but without us doing something about it, they're just words. And so our commitment is to put something in place and do something about it. In the back, we have a former student, Evan, Valerie's son. He's attending UC Berkeley, and he's back. And so was a UP student.
Stand up there.
Stand up.
So how's Berkeley?
I'm enjoying it.
You love it. Wow. I go up there to eat sometimes. Just at one restaurant.
Sourdough bread. That's place for sourdough bread, right?
Yeah, that's really neat.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
But we will looking forward to good negotiations coming up.
Wow.
We negotiate with VVTA next week, and I think our goal is to kind of put it frankly, not mess around, get some things done that are good for kids and good for our staff, and get this stuff wrapped up here, pretty quickly. Look forward to next month being able to honor Raina. But we also have another teacher coming in who was honored by the San Bernardino County Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Saad from Hook.
Mhm.
So we have
Yeah.
staff and
I
students
saw
coming
that
in.
too.
So looking forward to the
That's cool.
recognitions.
She's
next
gonna
month.
come?
She's going to be here.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to thank you for passing the 3 resolutions today. The middle school, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. And unfortunately, you have to pass your own resolution, but I hope that you feel the heartfelt support that we have for you. Not only do you support the work that comes out of this entire district, but the support that we have for the 5 of you. So look forward to continuing the great work that's happening. Happy New Year to everybody, and it's going to be June before we know it.
Do you know if Raina is connected with the Gus Franklin out there? That's, the school is named after Gus Franklin, who died out there. And then there was a teacher named Franklin. And I'm just wondering, I didn't check it out. I was looking at the name, and then I forgot to check that out.
Will she be here in February?
Yes, right
Rena?
over here. Yeah,
She's
going
gonna
So you can
come.
ask
Her
her.
and-
I'm gonna ask her
Yes,
when
you
she
can.
comes.
And the staff from Adelanto.
Yeah, because
and-
there was a teacher there,
Okay.
and at Adelanto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I wonder if that's her grandmother.
You'll find
It's
out.
in the military too.
Okay. Do we have any need to go back to closed session?
We do not.
Okay.
We do
So
not.
at this time, I'll entertain
Yes.
a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
That passes unanimously.
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming.
Aye.
Everybody.
Mike, can I touch base with you?
All right.